And what's wisdom? Trying to define yourself is like trying to bite your own teeth. We seldom realize, for example, that our most private thoughts and emotions are not actually our own, for we think in terms of languages and images which we did not invent, but which were given to us by our society. This is the real secret of life, to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now, and instead of calling it work, realize it's play. To have faith is to trust yourself to the water. When you swim, you don't grab hold of the water, because if you do, you will sink and drown. Instead, you relax and float. The only way to make sense out of change is to plunge into it, move with it, and join the dance. The menu is not the meal. Through our eyes, the universe is perceiving itself. Through our ears, the universe is listening to its harmonies. We are the witnesses through which the universe becomes conscious of its glory, of its magnificence. The more a thing tends to be permanent, the more it tends to be lifeless. Try to imagine what it will be like to go to sleep and never wake up. Now try to imagine what it was like to wake up having never gone to sleep. Things are as they are. Looking out into the universe at night, we make no comparisons between right and wrong stars, nor between well and badly arranged constellations. A scholar tries to learn something every day. A student of Buddhism tries to unlearn something daily. Life is like music for its own sake. We are living in an eternal now, and when we listen to music, we are not listening to the past. We are not listening to the future. We are listening to an expanded present. Never pretend to love something which you do not actually feel, for love is not ours to command. When we attempt to exercise power or control over someone else, we cannot avoid giving that person the same power or control over us. Every intelligent individual wants to know what makes him tick, and yet is at once fascinated and frustrated by the fact that oneself is the most difficult of all things to know. We do not come into this world. We come out of it, as leaves from a tree, as the ocean waves, the universe peoples. Every individual is an expression of the whole realm of nature, a unique action of the total universe. Problems that remain persistently insoluble should always be suspected as questions asked in the wrong way. The art of living is neither careless drifting on the one hand, nor fearful clinging to the past on the other. It consists in being sensitive to each moment, in regarding it as utterly new and unique, and having the mind open and wholly receptive. I have realized that the past and future are real illusions, that they exist in the present, which is what there is and all there is. You are a function of what the whole universe is doing in the same way that a wave is a function of what the whole ocean is doing. You are an aperture through which the universe is looking at and exploring itself. Muddy water is best cleared by leaving it alone. The meaning of life is just to be alive. It is so plain, so obvious, and so simple. And yet, everybody rushes around in a great panic as if it were necessary to achieve something beyond themselves. Man suffers only because he takes seriously what the gods made for fun. If you say that getting the money is the most important thing, you will spend your life completely wasting your time. You will be doing things you don't like in order to go on living. That is to go on doing things you don't like doing, which is stupid. One is a great deal less anxious if one feels perfectly free to be anxious, and the same may be said of guilt. If we cling to disbelief in God, we cannot likewise have faith, since faith is not clinging but letting go. How is it possible that a being with such sensitive jewels as the eyes, such enchanted musical instruments as the ears, and such fabulous arabesque nerves as the brain can experience itself as anything less than a god? A priest once quoted to me the Romans saying that a religion is dead when the priests laugh at each other across the altar. I always laugh at the altar, be it Christian, Hindu, or Buddhist, because real religion is a transformation of anxiety into laughter. But I will tell you what hermits realize. If you go off into a far, far forest and get very quiet, you'll come to understand that you're connected with everything. The world is filled with love play, from animal lust to sublime compassion. So then, the relationship of self to others is the complete realization that loving yourself is impossible without loving everything defined as other than yourself. Irrevocable commitment to any religion is not only intellectual suicide, it is positive unfaith because it closes the mind to any new vision of the world. Faith is, above all, openness, an act of trust in the unknown. What we have to discover is that there is no safety, that seeking is painful, and that when we imagine that we have found it, we don't like it. If then my awareness of the past and future makes me less aware of the present, I must begin to wonder whether I am actually living in the real world. Real travel requires a maximum of unscheduled wandering, for there is no other way of discovering surprises and marvels, which, as I see it, is the only good reason for not staying at home. Paradoxical as it may seem, the purposeful life has no content, no point. It hurries on and misses everything. Not hurrying, the purposeless life misses nothing, for it is only when there is no goal and no rush that the human senses are fully open to receive the world. If you cannot trust yourself, you cannot even trust your mistrust of yourself. So that without this underlying trust in the whole system of nature, you are simply paralyzed. Really, the fundamental, ultimate mystery, the only thing you need to know to understand the deepest metaphysical secrets is this: that for every outside there is an inside, and for every inside there is an outside, and although they are different, they go together. There is nothing on all that can be talked about adequately, and the whole art of poetry is to say what can't be said. You are under no obligation to be the same person you were 5 minutes ago. Other people teach us who we are. Their attitudes to us are the mirror in which we learn to see ourselves, but the mirror is distorted. We are perhaps rather dimly aware of the immense power of our social environment. You and I are all as much continuous with the physical universe as a wave is continuous with the ocean.